just to start things off, and then Brandon, Carson, please jump in on this. But Keith, it sounds like you pretty much focus right on sales leadership and helping people transition into sales leadership, sales coaching. Why would why do you find people wanting to get into this job, especially if you've been a high performing, individual contributor making lots of money? Why do they want to get in this job, and where do you see the biggest, I guess, areas of downfall and challenge?
Sure. I guess I could start with a very quick story. I was working with a manager who was sharing with me, he had a rep probably about 6 months. And the rep came to him 6 months later and said, "Hey, listen, when do I get promoted? I want to become a manager." And rather than this manager get on their soapbox and try to explain why they can't be a manager yet, and maybe there's not an open position, or maybe there's not a fit yet, this manager said, "You know what? I want you to shadow me just for one day. Just shadow me for one day. See what I do, see the meetings I go into, who I'm talking to, the back end reports and stuff that I'm responsible for." At the end of that day, the salesperson looked at their manager and said, "I never want your job." I think there's a certain assumption, this allure, the seduction of management, that people make assumptions that it's a greater position of power and authority. You're going to make more money. Well, we know that's not always true. You're going to have more autonomy. And we know that's not true as well. So I find a lot of salespeople becoming managers because a manager or someone else in the organization approaches a top producer and they say, "Hey, listen, there's a management opening. Do you want to become a manager?" And the salesperson looks around and says, "Sure, no training, but you're going to become a manager." And just like that, they become a manager. And because of the lack of training around coaching, which we'll get into, all they become is a super salesperson doing their salespeople's job for them.
So is there
Sounds
some,
awful.
yeah, it sounds awful. Yeah.
Sounds awful.
Well, that's what I say. I tell managers all the time, "Guys, you have the same job as I do. You have a practice. I have a practice. Your practice is your team. My practice are my clients. My responsibility is to make every one of my clients more valuable every day. Your job as a leader is to make your people more valuable every day." I think I have the greatest job in the world. I wake up excited about what I get to do and make an impact. And I tell managers, if you're not feeling that, then you're not coaching. The good news is you can get to that point once you transform your thinking around what it means to be a leader and coach and how you engage with your team.